Oh, well, this is where we are now. It's 8 o'clock in the morning on, what is today, Wednesday? And the blizzard is still carrying on. I'm trying to see out, but I really can't see much. There's my neighbor's elm tree. But yeah, I can't see anything. But I can hear the wind. Hello everybody, welcome back to Erndale's. As you can see on the first little clip here, we are in a blizzard, and I think it's still not over. Every once in a while the snow stops, but the wind is just blowing everything all over the place. So it started yesterday morning. It started as rain. It was pouring down rain, which we'd never get in this time of year. And then it turned, that was like all morning long, it poured. And then in the afternoon, it turned to ice pellets. You could hear them hitting the window. And then it turned to big, fat, wet snow. No wind. It was just lots and lots of this heavy, heavy snow. Then it stopped and we thought, oh, okay, well, maybe it's over, although we know it wasn't, because we could see on the radar this huge, big cloud. And then the temperature dropped, and then it started to snow and the wind started to blow, and it's been doing that ever since. I don't know how much precipitation we've had. I mean, probably a lot if you add the water and the snow, but the snow is drifted up in very deep in lots of places. And of course, I made a comment, I think it was on Facebook, that we look like, the house looks like it's glazed Tim Hortons donut, because every window is covered with, well, I guess it was rain at first and then it froze and then the snow stuck to it. So some windows you can see through quite well and the rest you can't see through at all. And I don't think that we would be able to get out our doors, because both our doors face west, and most of the wind is coming from that area, from the northwest. So yeah, fun times in Manitoba, but this is not uncommon for us. It's a little bit of a shock because we've had such nice warm fall, and actually the temperatures still are quite warm. I don't think it's below maybe -2 Celsius, which is not cold for us. Compared to my nephew, he sent me a picture this morning of his little weather station thing that he has in the house, and it was minus 27.9 Celsius. Oh, they can keep that. So I have a few things that I want to share with you today. I don't know quite where I should start. Maybe I'll start with things that I've actually finished. I finished a few things. I have a sinus thing going on here. So I know I showed you this hat that I had finished a couple of videos back, and I said I was making a cowl to match, and I'm not putting the hat on because I just blow dried my hair. So I did make myself a cowl, goes this way, to match, and I am going to be using this a lot. I know I am, and I'm going to make a few more because it is so nice and cozy and warm. I love it, love it, love it. So I think these two together are going to get some use in the very near future. These are for me. And then I started making gifts. Well, I've actually started quite a while ago. But the first thing that I finished was this 2x2 rib hat. Now, I made this out of double DK, and it is so heavy. I mean, it is going to be really heavy, and you wear it, of course, folded like this. So it's really nice, has a nice top on it. I haven't sewn in the top part yet. I still have some finishing to do. I got a pile of finishing happening here. So that's the first one of these. And when I was using Gary's head as a, as a model, and he says, oh, I would really like one. So I'm making him one too. So another one I cast on is in this color. And this, I'm just using a worsted. And it's it's still quite thick, but nothing like that other one. The other one is for somebody who I made a hat for several years ago, and they complained that it wasn't heavy enough, so they're going to get it now. Anyway, this one is going to be for Gary, and it's just a simple 2x2 hat. Makes a really nice, solid, woolly fabric, and you can flip over the brim as well, so that's another double layer here at the ear where we really need it. So I'm using up some scraps, which is kind of nice because I had a lot of this kind of thing. This is all acrylic, by the way. I dived into my acrylic stash because this is nice acrylic. It's quite soft. I can't even remember what this is. I think it's Mary Maxim Starlet maybe, or something like that. I can't remember. I bought it for a project, and this is what I have left over. So I'm using it up, and that's really good because I think, and I'm really jiggling this, aren't I? Yeah, I'm using up a lot of my acrylic stash, which makes me happy. I got rid of a lot of it, but I kept certain colors that I thought might work really well for woolen or for winter wear, because as wonderful as wool is, unless you're using a worsted wool, which is so expensive to buy, for us here, we need really solid, heavy garments in the winter time. We have severe winters, and so acrylic works really well. You know, it's durable, it doesn't wear out, and it is warm. So I'm going to use it all up. Well, I'm on the using up acrylic thing. I might as well go to the next one because this one is quite funny. We were out a couple of days ago, well, half a week ago, and I had knit Gary last year, and Jonathan both, a pair of wool gloves. And the pattern that I used was just a sort of generic, well, I think it was actually a lady size pattern. It wasn't a man size pattern. And I made it, but I extended the hand, made the hand longer, and I made the fingers longer. But when Gary was driving, he had them on. I noticed that the cuff was up into his hand here. So obviously the hand was not big enough. And then as he's driving, he doesn't even be aware of what I was doing. As he was driving, I'm looking, and his fingers are squashed in there. So he never complained about it to me. So I thought, okay, I'm going to have to find another pattern and start this whole project over again. And also, he had a hole here, he had a hole in one of the fingers. And I thought, well, he's very hard on socks and he's very hard on gloves. He doesn't like wearing mitts, but he does like wearing gloves. And we bought gloves for him, and he always blows them out in here and at the fingertips. I don't know how anybody can be so hard on things. Anyway, I went looking through my older pattern books that belonged to my mom, and I came across this one, which I remember this book from when I was a child. It doesn't even have a cover on it. I'm just trying to find a beginning page. It has no cover, and it's missing a lot of pages. I guess this one could do. So it is a World War II sewing book. And it's got a men's section like this, and it's got children's section. No, it's not a children's section. It's a boys section and a girls section. And it's got a ladies section and a babies section. So it covers, gotta wait for the clock. It covers garments and accessories and everything else in between. And I remember as a child, my mom would be working on something in this particular book, and I used to be so in love. Now I can't find it. Give me a second. On every page almost, there are these little dolls here. There's girl dolls, there's boy dolls, but it was the little sailor that I absolutely thought was so sweet and adorable, and I bugged her. Yeah, this one, this little sailor here. I bugged her to make me one, and I can't remember if I ever had one or not. Anyway, this is the book that I went to find a glove pattern, and I found a glove, this pattern here, for service gloves. And then I thought, that, of course, this is for 4-ply wool, and it's on number 11 needles, which is about a size, it's smaller than a size 2 point, it's smaller than a size 2 millimeter. It's a very, very fine. So obviously they were using fingering weight wool or less, but I knew that wasn't going to fly for Gary. So I decided to take a chance and grab some really heavy, actually pretty awful acrylic yarn that I had. It's terrible. It's like carpet. It's so tough. You can't, well, with a lot of pressure, you can pull it, but it's thick. And I thought, that is durable. Maybe that's what I'm going to use. And I'm using a size, where are the needles? I think it's 2.75 millimeters what I'm using. And I've got one glove done. They're massive. But they fit him perfectly, absolutely perfectly. And they are so tough, I think that only leather would be tougher than these gloves. They are thick, and he is very happy with them. He said they fit his hand. Well, I put them on. As I was making them, I was trying them on. I wanted to make sure it had a long cuff and a long enough hand for him, because this is where his problem was. He's got a very large hand this way. And then as I did the fingers, I tried it on. So I fit it as we went along, and I wrote it all down. And this glove works fine. So he's going to have a really durable, this is not going to wear out anytime soon. And I was thinking, as I was making this, I was thinking a lot about my mom, because obviously she grew up in an era of wool. My grandmother was a spinner and a knitter, and my mom was a fantastic knitter. And I know that, you know, in her young age, it was all wool because there was no such thing as acrylic. But I also know that when acrylic came in, she grabbed to it because she had 4 boys and myself. And my parents also took in foster children. And there was an immense amount of mittens and hats and socks in our house. And it seemed that she always gravitated towards acrylic, because when acrylic first came in, wool sort of disappeared. You couldn't even buy it. All they carried in stores, at least here in Winnipeg, or where she was in Winnipeg, was acrylic. So she gravitated toward it, and her favorite was Sayal. She loved Sayal. So I thought, you know, I'm going to try this in acrylic, because I remember her saying that wool was warmer, but acrylic was tougher. So for children and, you know, even men, for something like this, acrylic was actually better, because it does have strength, but it also has some warmth to it too, quite a bit of warmth. So acrylic it is. And again, I'm using up this giant ball of yarn, and I have no idea what I had bought this for, because I can't imagine making any kind of clothing out of this. It is so rough, and I can't really imagine even making a blanket out of it, because who'd want this rough up against them? It's not nice at all. But it is going to make good gloves. And I think while I'm at it, I'm going to make Jonathan a pair, because he too is not a mitten wearer. He loves to wear gloves. So these, again, are going to be nice and warm, and they're going to be nice and tough. So I'm sure I'll have another 3 gloves out of this easily. The only thing is, it is killing my hands to work with this. It is so hard to knit it. It doesn't give at all. There's no give to this. So you can't pull a stitch in case, you know, like I'm picking up stitches. When you do a glove, you do the hand and then you put all of this on a thread, or they say a thread, I just put it on a piece of wool, and then you have to pick them up, and there's no give to those stitches. So I'm a tight knitter. So when I put that thread through here, those stitches were tight to that thing. And so now trying to pull them off there, it was really hard on the hands. So I think I'm going to give myself a couple of days break before I start the next one, because it's not exactly pleasurable. So what else have I got going? I have a couple of pair of socks, the ones I'm working on now, though I love. Look at these. These are the Christmas socks. This was from Lichen and Lace's Christmas sock, whatever you call it. You bought the yarn, falling down here. You bought the yarn and you bought the pattern. Or no, you bought the yarn and you got the pattern. I'm not using her pattern per se. I've sort of done my own thing, but I love it. I love the colors. I absolutely think they sort of remind me of the Bay blanket in a kind of a goofy way. Anyway, I'm loving how I'm on the foot now. I just finished the heel and the gusset, and I'm starting onto the foot. So this is the first one will be done. And the colors that I got, they were minis, is, I'll tell you, this is walnut. Where are you? Walnut. No, that's not walnut. That is ginger snap. Ginger snap. Amber. And these are in the order that you use them. Shroom, I suppose maybe for mushroom, I'm thinking. Lovely color. And then evergreen. Black walnut, which is gorgeous. Linen. And poppy. So those are the colors that are in the sock. And remember, back in the summertime, I was going through my old jewelry box and I had my charm bracelet with all the charms on, and I didn't know what I was going to do with them. Well, I show you what I did with them. I turned them into progress keepers. There's a little Christmas wreath that was on there and a musical note. I have to get some silver of these balloon things, but yeah, they're coming in handy. So I think, oh no, that's not all. One more pair of gloves, which I have done nothing on. I think I might have even shown these to you already, but these are another pair of socks, not gloves, that I'm working on. I'm parked these ones for now till I finish the other ones. So that is the knitting portion. And I was over at this little store in the town next to us. It's sort of, half of it is like dollar store type stuff, and then the other half is like a used section. People bring it in and donate it, like a charity kind of thing. And I always go in there. When we go grocery shopping, our grocery store is right beside it. So I always, when I'm finished grocery shopping, I deke in there, because they have one little tiny section that is chocked full of craft things. And I have found the best things in that one tiny little section of that store. And the other day was no exception. So I found this cloth, and I'm pretty sure that it's real fiddler's cloth. I've never actually really had the real fiddler's cloth. I've had the Ada that's, you know, cut off of a fiddler, but I think this is the real thing. And I don't know, can you see the price tag on that? 50 cents for that much. So I got that. And then right underneath it was a bigger piece of what I'm pretty sure is fiddler's cloth. And it's so soft, this piece. But I'm gonna have to stand up to show you how big this piece is. And again, $0.50. Look at this. I can't even show it all to you. It's so big. So I'm really excited about this because this is beautiful stuff. And I have some cross stitch projects that I could do on this. But I haven't finished my little joy yet. I'm going to finish that, but I'm not going to be doing any cross stitch until into the new year, I don't believe. But that's not all I got for 50 cents. So these two things were each 50 cents. Put them on my way. And I picked up this book, My Grandmother's Knitting, Family Stories and Inspired Knits from Top Designers by Larissa Brown. Oh my gosh, is this a lovely book. The beginning of it is stories of some of well-known designers of who they learned to knit. And actually everybody in this book, all the designers, pretty much learned to knit from their grandma. And but it tells about their grandma and where they lived and how they lived. And a lot of them came from very poor beginnings. And they used their knitting to help the family. So there's stories first. And they're really, really good stories. I mean, I'm enjoying the stories as much as I'm going to enjoy the inspired knits. But the inspired knits, keepsake scarf, here's one I could use, vintage gloves, Conchetta cardigan. And the sizing is unbelievable. It goes all the way up to a 46 bust, which is wonderful for somebody like me who's not size 2. I really love this Family Tree Afghan. This would be a great scrap buster for all those little bits of sock yarn that I have taking up space. Ouch. Ice skating cape. Which is so pretty. Look at the Grandma's Fan dishcloth. I make a round dishcloth almost like this. Actually, the round dishcloth that I make, it's knitted. If you go on to my blog, the pattern's on there. I'll put the blog link below. Don't judge me on my blog. I haven't written on it for a very long time. Twining Vines pillow. I think I really lucked out on this book. Whoops. Crayons cowl. Fiddler's mitts. I love these. rose and cross pullover. Isn't that gorgeous? And again, the sizes are up to 48 bust. I love this one. Minerva bonnet. Where is it? It's on this side. This is so cute. I would so wear something like that. It showed the back of it too. No, it didn't. It was a different one. Tilden baby hat. They're gorgeous. There's so many nice things in here. And then there's mittens, slouch hat, which is cute. Olena socks. I'm gonna try these. So pretty. Even though I'm not a fan of cabling, I have to start to challenge myself to cabling. This is a cowl, another cowl with cables. Yeah, so I'm really happy with this book. I've been reading, oh, here's some more socks. Sock ladies, look at that. I'm really looking forward to reading the stories and actually making some of these patterns in here. There's some really nice things. Yeah, I like this hat. That is so cute. Anyway, this was 50 cents as well. All the books in there are 50 cents, and they have tons of craft books and pattern books, everything you can imagine, and everything is 50 cents. So I never go to that town without stopping in that little store. So that is about all of the knitting stuff. What else did I want to talk to you about? I think, oh yeah, Vlogmas. I have been just knocking myself up about Vlogmas the last week or so. Well, more than a week. I've been thinking about it for a long time. And I want to do it, but I can't do it in the way I did last year. If you're new to my channel and you didn't watch my last year's Vlogmas, what I did last year was I made a gift, a little gift for my son for every day of Vlogmas. And I turned it into an advent calendar, and I put all these little gifts in a bag and I shipped them off to him. And then he, on the other end, opened them up every day. So I would show you, say for instance, the first day of Advent, I would show you what I sent him, and then I showed you him opening it up. We missed quite a few days because he was also working and it was difficult for him to do things. But it was so much fun for me to make this, and he had a blast. So the other day we were talking on the phone, and he said, well, not on the phone, on video. And he said, are you doing Vlogmas again? And I said, no, I don't think I will. He goes, oh. And just, you know, my son is not a child, he's an adult. Just the look on his face showed so much disappointment. And I thought, oh, I had felt the pressure right there. You know, when he went, oh, I thought, oh no. So I wanted to kind of make him another Advent without maybe adding it into my Vlogmas. So one night I was not sleeping and I was laying there and I was trying to think, what could I do, first of all, for him, for Advent, as an Advent calendar. And I remember asking him a couple of months ago, we were talking about the Advent calendar that I made for him last year. And I asked him what was the best part of it for him. And he said I had made him a little tiny book of family recipes that he grew up with, that I made. And I had filled it full of that. And he says, honestly, Mom, he said, I love the recipes. He says, I've almost made every one of them. And there was baking in there. There was all kinds of different things. And I thought, as I was laying there in bed, I thought, you know what I should do? I should do a recipe a day for him for this year. So I've sort of decided that what I would do is I would make up a recipe card. There's still lots of recipes that I haven't shared with him. So I'd make up a recipe card and put it in an envelope and put day 1. And I would do 24 of those and mail them off to him, and he could open them up. Well, that was a great idea, and I was all set to get going. And then the postal strike hit. So I have revised that idea for him, and I'm still going to do that, but I will send it to him whenever the postal strike is over, which I hope will be soon, but I'm not counting on it. In the meantime, I will message him every morning the same thing, and he will eventually get the cards, but until the postal strike is over, it'll have to just come in through a message. So that kind of got me on the thought, okay, so that's him sorted. I've got that all figured out. Now what am I going to do for you? And this other idea was in my mind since actually probably June. I was thinking about Christmas past and Christmas present. No, it was August actually, because when my nephew was here from the Yukon, we pulled out all the old family movies, the ones on the reels, you know, with the projector kind of movies. And we watched them, and in there are old Christmas movies, and they are actually quite funny. And so when we were showing them, I was recording them with my phone because, you know, they're old. Some of them are really, really old, and they're getting kind of brittle, and they're cracking and they're breaking. And I thought, well, at least if I record them on the phone, then we have some of them. So I was recording them all, and I've been going through them, and I've actually been able to edit some of them, clean them up a little bit, brighten them up a little bit, because some of them are very faded. And I have some pretty good content about Christmas past in there. And then I thought, well, I could do like one day Christmas past, then the next day I would do Christmas present. So show you sort of what's going on now. So if I do Vlogmas, and I haven't decided for sure if I'm going to do, but if I do Vlogmas, I think that is what I'm going to do. And every day I will share the recipe that I sent to Jonathan. So I wonder if that would be something that you would enjoy. Let me know in the comments. And time is running out, so I'm going to have to, if I'm going to do it, I'm going to have to really get my head in gear. And I don't think this would be a whole lot of pressure, because I'm not going to be having to make a bunch of stuff or anything like that. I am going to start that Afghan, however, that mosaic crochet Afghan. If I don't finish it, I don't care, but I think I will work a little bit on it every day and just see how far I go. So I think that is about all that I have to share with you today, and I will be back hopefully early next week with something else. I'm just trying to get caught up on some of these projects, and I'm going to have a whole bunch of sewing in to do. Like I've got hat, glove, like this glove looks finished, but inside it's full of ends. And I want to finish this other because he needs to be wearing these. So I still have some Christmas knitting to do. I am going to be starting a project that K3N, Catherine Chambers on K3N is starting. Well, she actually started it last week, but she's only doing it every other week. And I thought, I haven't done a journal for a while, so I think I'm going to follow along with her art journal. I like her style so much, and I'm going to be probably working on that a little bit, but it's not going to overcome all this other stuff. I have this to finish first. So I hope you enjoyed this. If you have, please like and share my videos. I would really appreciate that. And I will say so long for right now, and I'll see you very, very soon. Thanks for watching, everybody. Take care. Bye for now.